welcome to another edition of the Night Sky this week for August 23rd, 2021. I hope you had a great weekend. There's lots of things this week with the moon, planets, and stars, deep sky objects. Why don't we dive in? First off, let me welcome everybody who's joining us live or watching us pre-recorded, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Welcome. I'm so happy that you can join us. I'm here every week talking about what else? The night sky and all kinds of really neat star watching opportunities that are available to everyone, whether you're watching with the naked eye or with a telescope or maybe with a pair of binoculars. There's something from everyone. And even if you're living within light polluted regions where you have a limitation on the things that you can see, there is something to see all the time in all places, as long as you've got some clear skies. I'd like to welcome everyone in the comment section. I can see everyone joining us from all over the world. So happy to join us. Martha from Central Florida. We've got Sean from Trinidad, Rhonda from Idaho, Susie from South Carolina, Maura from Quebec joining us. So wonderful to see you. Teresa from Colorado as well. It's great that you guys everywhere around the world we can do sky watching. So why don't we just dive in and see what's up for this week? So here we go. We've got our planetarium program set up for the evening sky this week, just after local sunset. So this is something that I'd love for you guys to go out and check it out. It's really beautiful. Basically a lineup of stars and worlds, neighboring planets. And all of this action is happening very soon after sunset. It's a little bit tricky in catching all of these planets because they're setting very soon after the local sunset. So you want to find a spot to view this event where you get a clear view towards the western horizon. So you definitely want to find a spot that you can see right down to the western horizon. So what you see here is a lineup of stars and planets. So the major star that you'll see, the first star-like object that'll catch your eye is planet Venus. Venus is by far the brightest celestial object in the western part of the sky right now. You can't miss it. So about 15 minutes to half hour after your local sunrise is when you want to take a look for Venus. That'll be the first thing that'll pop into view. Then to its far upper left will be Spica. Spica is the lead star in the constellation Virgo. It sits about 250 light years away from us. It'll be faint, much fainter than Venus. You may want to bring out your pair of binoculars to scan that sky to the left of Venus, but that's where you'll see Spica. It has this bluish tint to it. It's really a beautiful star. And as the sky gets darker, you'll see it maybe an hour. If you go out an hour after local sunset, it'll pop into view like this, very much so. But to catch these other planets, the timing is really important, and that's what's tricky. So I would say about 20 minutes to half hour after your local sunset is when you want to look towards the west. Use those binoculars to pick out those fainter Mercury and Mars planets. Mercury will be the one that's slightly easier to see, definitely pinning down the western horizon. In that glow of the sunset is where you'll see Mercury. And then to its lower right will be the really trickiest of all is Mars. Mars is heading towards a conjunction with the sun, meaning it'll be kind of in behind the sun and for a few days, and that's where it's heading, and it's becoming very difficult to see. But I'll put this challenge out to you, especially the first half of this week. Try to see Mars and Mercury huddled together very low in the western horizon, and then of course Venus will be a great guidepost in tracking those two elusive planets down there. But it's really neat because they'll be in a perfect alignment this week. Check that out. So you'll have Spica, Venus, and Mercury and Mars all in the western horizon. So that's this week, particularly earlier this week, because if we head into later this week, you'll see that Mars is even heading lower and lower, while Venus is closing the gap between Spica and Venus. Spica and Venus are just getting closer together. So check that out over the course of this week and next week. they're coming closer and closer together. So we're heading for a really nice conjunction between Spica and Venus, but that won't happen until the first week of September. So until then, just keep watching every evening. It's a great, great show. So if we put ourselves back into Monday, you'll see, or Tuesday or Wednesday, whichever day, but let's say a few hours after local sunset, what you'll notice if we look towards the east, later after sunset on Monday, the 23rd, the moon will be to the far left of Jupiter and Saturn. So again, this is looking towards the east, southeastern part of your sky. Later at night, maybe around 10, 11 o'clock local time PM. And what you're going to be seeing is, of course, the near full moon. We had a beautiful full moon on Sunday night, the 22nd. And I'm sure a lot of you saw on your media channels, and I was just kind of rolling my eyes about this, is the blue moon, right? Where it's the second full moon in the month of August. But honestly, there's nothing really extraordinary. I think it was just, a lot of buzz for nothing, other than it's just a beautiful full moon, and definitely it's worth going out to see, but it's not something like crazy unusual. It's just a beautiful full moon in August. I hope you got to see it. If you didn't, tonight on Monday, the 23rd, you get to see it again. And what's bonus is that the near full moon is going to be next to a planet. The most distant planet that is fairly easy to see for backyard sky watchers with telescopes and binoculars is Neptune. Neptune now, it's enormously far away. It's sitting about, I would say right now, 4.3 billion kilometers away. And that means light takes over 241 minutes to reach your eye. Imagine that. And it's going to be positioned on Monday, August 23rd, very close to the moon. The moon will act as a great guidepost, but of course, the glare from the moon will be enormous. So it will make it a bit challenging to pin down Neptune because of the glare of the moon, but give it a try, especially if you have a telescope, a small telescope. That'll come in handy. Binoculars. Try to make sure that the moon is out of your field of view. It is a pretty tricky thing to do, but that's where Neptune will be, and the moon acts as a kind of a convenient guidepost and tracking this elusive planet that's, again, sitting 4.3 billion kilometers away from us. It looks like a very faint star that's about 7-8 magnitude, meaning you need binoculars to see this. The naked eye, you'll never see Neptune, but with binoculars and specifically telescopes, because of the glare of the moon, might allow you to see that very distinctive little tiny disk that Neptune is. So that, again, that is happening tonight, August 23rd. Also very interesting, what you may want to look at is kind of, if you draw a line between moon and Neptune, just to the upper left of the moon is the constellation Pisces. And while it's not a very prominent constellation in terms of its brightness, there is an asterism, a pattern that's very recognizable. And I want you guys to see if you can see that asterism. It's called the circlet, the Great Circlet of Pisces. And I'm going to show you that right here. There it is. There's the circlet. I've got it in orange, and I'll zoom in on it, and you can see that circlet of stars. See if you can take a look at that with a pair of binoculars. Binoculars will show you something more akin to this, so it might be too much, but with the naked eye, you can see this circlet. Of course, with the moon later this week, by the end of this week, we'll be out of this part of the sky. Of course, the circlet will still be visible. So this is a really neat little pattern of stars that you can see in the eastern sky late at night, rising for those of us in the northern hemisphere. And to the upper left of the circlet is the Great Square of Pegasus. Now, this is heralding, of course, the coming change of season into the autumn season, of course, in about a month from now, 4 weeks from now. But already those autumn constellations for those of us in the northern hemisphere is starting to make themselves known, rising in the east very late at night. And that's what you can start seeing, is that Great Square of Pegasus, which marks the chest of the winged steed that is rising in the east this time of the year. And it'll get rising earlier and earlier, and it'll be high up in the sky by October and November. Really neat to be able to see this, and we'll be talking more about that. But I just wanted to give you a heads up that you've got the great square of Pegasus and the circlet of the constellation Pisces, the fish. Prominent with and guiding you will be the moon. So you have kind of an idea of where to look in the sky thanks to the moon acting as a guidepost. And of course, with the moon later this week, if we go to, say, Wednesday or Thursday, the moon will be out of the way earlier in the evening. So say around 9 o'clock, you'll be able to see the beautiful teapot, the giant teapot in Sagittarius, which will be pinning down the southern late night skies. And then next to it is what we call the giant fish hook, which is this beautiful kind of curved hook-like feature made of this pattern of stars that, of course, is part of Scorpius, the giant arachnoid, and its stinger is marked by this fish hook-like configuration of stars that marks the southern sky. Of course, easy to find that is thanks to Antares, this bright orange star that really dominates the late night southern skies in the northern hemisphere this time of the year. So do check those out. They'll be really neat. Now, if we go into the late night, you'll see that by the end of this week, let me see if I can change this to days, and we'll move to by Saturday morning, or I should say for Friday night, the 27th, the moon will be next to Uranus. Now, Uranus is a 5th magnitude planet. It's something that's technically visible to the naked eye. If you're in a countryside, dark location without light pollution, you should be able to make out this 5th magnitude green star-like object, which is Uranus, and the moon will be next to it. But because of the glare of the moon, use binoculars and small telescopes to see Uranus. It'll look like a tiny little green faint disk in binoculars and telescopes. And it's pretty far away. It's about 2.9 billion kilometers away, Uranus is, and it takes almost 2 hours for the light to reach us here on Earth. It's really incredible how far away this planet is. But the moon will act as a wonderful guidepost in showing that. And if we go to Saturday and Sunday night, and this is going to be after midnight, probably local time, you'll see the quarter moon, the last quarter moon, next to Aldebaran, an orange star, again in the east. This is after local midnight into the early morning hours, but you'll find that moon if you're up maybe partying or something and you can see that moon, you'll see an orange star next to it. That's the red eye of Taurus the Bull constellation, another fall-winter constellation, meaning they're up in the evening time, the early evening. We're talking November, December, January, but now it's rising in the early morning hours in the east, and that's when you can see Taurus now, and it'll be next to that beautiful orange star, Aldebaran, in the eastern sky late at night, and that star is about 66 light years away, so it takes about 66 years for the light to travel through space and reach your eye. That's how far back in time you're looking when you're enjoying that view of the moon next to Aldebaran. So, as you can see, lots of things this week. I hope you got all of that marked down. And if you're watching and you love this video, please do support my channel by sharing this video and subscribing to my YouTube and Facebook channel and Twitch as well. I'd love to have your support. I'm here every week sharing some of the amazing stuff that you can see from your backyard or through your bedroom window every week of the night sky. So thanks so much. And I wish all of you guys, wherever you are, of course, I wish you clear skies. Bye-bye.